Hi, I'm Ashley Harwood, and I am here with my friend Charlie, aka Brass Apple Furniture. We have been working on these super fancy walnut closet doors, and in this video we're going to be showing you how we glue together our shop sawn veneer, and then how we assemble that veneer onto a plywood core to build the doors themselves. Did I say that right? Okay, let's get started. The first step is to figure out which boards go where. We have 12 long pieces of veneer that we'll use to run vertically on one face of each of these door sets.
In pieces, I mean, because furniture making is you're building puzzle pieces to put together later. And so you have to, well, I call them witness marks, or some people call them idiot marks, is just to keep you from looking like an idiot. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the smart part is that you know which way it goes back together. It's kind of your road map.
In some cases, we were able to book match the grain from the boards we started with. It's not a big deal if the ends don't match up perfectly. These will get trimmed after everything is glued together.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it'll probably be... Yeah, so when you're, I guess when you're, you can slip match or book match something. Slip match is where you slide it past each other. The thing you have to always be worried about, or look for, not necessarily worried about, but look for is that grain goes in an up and downhill direction if you look at the side. And if you have one going uphill and one going downhill, it'll actually refract the light differently, and the one board will actually look darker than the other.
Here with all these boards is we're trying to lay them out in an attractive pattern. I guess you'd say we're trying to envision what the doors are going to be like when they're finished and when they're put together, and how these boards are going to lay next to one another. You know, every board has a slightly different grain pattern, and we have several pieces that came out of each board. So as much as we can, we're trying to match the pieces from the same board together and then figure out what to put on the ends, because we don't have quite enough from one board to make it all the way across.
Another good reason for the triangle is that I generally run the boards one against the with the chalk facing me, and then one with the chalk facing the fence. And so each board is jointed this way, and so if my fence isn't 100% square, it doesn't matter because it's a complementary angle now.
Right.
So
Makes sense.
and then you, well, terrible joke, but you stack the boards in your favor.
Woodworking full of sexual references and dad jokes.
Yeah, a lot of dad jokes.
We have to joint the edges of the veneer one last time before we glue them all together.
I'll just stretch it. Veneer tape.
Then we're arranging the boards face down in order and joining them with, yes, masking tape. The blue painter's tape has just enough stretch in it to help pull the veneer together, about every 10 to 12 inches on each seam. And on top of that, we're adding clear packing tape for good measure. Once we've thoroughly taped up the backside, it's time to flip it over. And now on to taping up the next set. Time for a little glue. And a little cleanup. And more tape. We use a mesh layer to make sure our veneer panels don't stick to the boards that we use to weigh down the panels while they dry. So one side of our doors has been sitting curing while we ate lunch and then got the other side all cut up. And now it's time to take off the planks and see if it holds together, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
One piece now.
Look at that. Feelings, can we stand it up? You want to get a... Now that the vertical grain panels are glued up, it's time to glue up the horizontal panels. I feel confident enough to do these on my own in my studio. We might just have to use some lathes as tabletops. The horizontal panels were something we decided to do after finding that we couldn't get quite enough of the vertical boards out of the wood that I have. So one side of the doors will be vertical grain and the other horizontal, which allowed me to utilize some more of what we cut off of my boards on the first day. In order to get the yield we needed, we even had some shorter horizontal boards that are going to leave a seam in the center where the French doors are cut apart. And I had to mill some more boards. So joining them, bandsawing them, and planing them. Now, I haven't actually done the math, but it seemed like there were so many more linear feet of seams on these horizontal panels. If any of y'all are super particular about your chisels, just close your eyes for this next part. I got an extra hand from Pat, my videographer, in taping up the last side on these. And I had to get some help from my friend Dan Perrin for this next part. Dan owns and runs a custom cabinet making shop here in Charleston, and he has an industrial drum sander, which is exactly what we need to get these panels flat enough to glue onto our plywood substrate. If you'd like more information on Dan's business, check the links below. We used a really coarse grit just to make them flat, and after they're glued onto the plywood, we'll run them through one more time with a finer grit. Dan was explaining to me that it's a little risky running these panels with a horizontal grain through here. One of those hold your breath and hope all goes well kind of moments. Of course, there will be sanding lines running perpendicular to the grain, but that doesn't really matter for the purposes of gluing. We were originally thinking that all of the glue ups that were happening on these doors were going to go into one video. But once we started editing this video and putting it all together, it seems that we had way too much to fit into one. So tune in next week and you can see us gluing these veneer panels onto the plywood and making our doors. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you saw, I do hope that you'll hit subscribe, and don't forget the little notifications bell to make sure that you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. I would like to take this time to say thank you so much to all of my Patreon members. Your support means the world, especially right now, and really helps for us to continue to produce high quality photos and videos. Also, if you would like a behind the scenes look at my business and my production work, or if you would like a heads up about when I'll be scheduling my next classes, you can click on the links below to become a member on my Patreon page. I would also like to give a big shout out to my top tier patrons: David Matheson, Leonard Crowell, Steve Snyder, Erica Vane, Chris Jones, Andrew Nidell, Chris Cairns, Robert Hunt, aka Mr. Bodog, Jim Tate, and Alan Valley. Thank you so much for your support. And that's all, folks, so till next time, everybody stay safe.
Get him.